We saw Evernight in 3.6 and just how powerful she is, and she is a obsession that was born from March's desire, innately seemingly, to kill the Remembrance. We do not know if she represents the full extent of March's actual power, or if she is just a surface level glance. And I thought it'd be useful to make a note of the minimum we know March 7th is capable of, for eventually, long term, when we get another SP of March that is her after she remembers everything and probably has full access to what she can do. And that's prior to potential ascension to Aeonhood, because that is an actual possibility that could exist for her. So, as March 7th, things that we know that she is capable of include creating 6-phase ice, which, based on Welt's description, is a unique type of ice that is a substance that adheres to imaginary law, which means that no external forces can change its form. We know that based on Himiko's account within the Express, that when they pulled her into the Express, it disappeared on its own, which proves that March purposefully did that, and it was intentional, because no external force can change it, meaning the conditions that were making the ice there were clearly met and March let it go. Maybe not consciously, but that is a fact. Then, we know that she had resistances both to the Swarm and to Enna's dream. We know she resisted the Swarm because we know that the illusion of herself that happened during Argenti's companion mission was actually Evernight, meaning the pheromones weren't getting to her as much as the others, and technically she was still in control of that situation. Meanwhile, Enna's dream, we know she was one of the first to break from it and was borderline unaffected, and she realized it was fake herself, without a contradiction technically. And then we'll add in her combat prowess and adaptability with weapons, but I'd say that the other things are far more important. And now as Evernight, we know that she is capable of creating a Memoria Tide that could affect an entire world essentially. It consumed Amphorius, and there was concerns about entering it, because as far as the crew was concerned, it was bad enough that it could tear people apart. She also modified mimetic entities that were corrupted by the destruction to serve her own purposes. One of the enemy descriptions reveals that it was created by Evernight. She is also capable of creating a ton of her own mimetic entities to use at her disposal, which we see both in the story with the mass creations of the red version of Eevee, and in gameplay, where she clearly creates swarms of it. Additionally, she can effortlessly modify the memories of other people. Dan Heng is the main example of this. She modified his memories to forget the initial meeting with her. She can also force others into memory zones, which we see with the Trailblazer in version 3.6's story. She forced us into essentially a dream, and Sunday tried to break us out, and it was futile. We couldn't break out really ourselves. Sunday had to give us a helping hand. She had a firm control of that situation. She can also capture and essentially kill memo keepers or memo snatchers or whatever you want to call them, emanators of the remembrance spiritually. We see some of them imprisoned. The one who mentions that presumably Evernight wants to kill her own sisters. It could mean one of the other entities that is also a child of Fuli or the Remembrance wants to kill their siblings. But it's likely they meant Evernight. They were imprisoned, and we found tons of husks while Black Swan was roaming around that clearly this girl had already dealt with. It is implied she can take control of the body of others and make it her own, which we see with Black Swan when Evernight says that she aimed on using her body, essentially. And then finally, she is able to seemingly utilize or dabble in utilizing the Enigmata, despite she is associated with Remembrance, because she refers to it as Oblivion, and it is clearly her tool of choice when dealing with Amphorius, because Amphorius is actively being impacted by the Remembrance, and quote-unquote Oblivion, or Enigmata, is essentially was born to interact and obscure Remembrance. Oh, another thing I forgot to list as well for March, because it was technically her, I didn't know who to classify this as, if it was Evernight or if it was March, but she broke through the barrier of the erudition effortlessly and enabled her companions to enter Amphorius, so she's just disregarding the restrictions placed by an emanator of erudition and the person who created the Aeon of erudition. And she also effortlessly avoided him as a mimetic entity, and then actively provoked him once becoming Evernight by screwing up what he was doing. All of the capabilities listed, we don't know if this is the limit. We don't know if Evernight showed March's true strength. We know she possesses her memories, but that's not the same. We also don't know just how much March can grow in power. If she is able to develop any further than this, and technically we don't even know if she counts as an emanator yet she's seemingly able to dismiss them. Feynman was able to cleave us away to where we needed to go. He is not truly an emanator either at present, even though he is clearly connected to Iron Tomb. But he didn't solve this situation. He did damage that gave us a way forward to reach where Evernight was. It seems like there was a limit to what he could do. He didn't cleave away completely the Memoria Tide. It seemed like there was a chance it could come back too. It's daunting in a way, just how powerful this girl is capable of being. How instinctively she's able to do most of these things. Like, this girl, even as March, when she doesn't have full control, can just instinctively do really powerful things. Things that most people within the game aren't equipped to even deal with. Like, they make it a clear point that 6-phase ice can't be changed in form by external forces. Meaning, if someone doesn't have the innate control over that, and understands how to use it, manifest it, and interact with it, yeah, you're kind of screwed. If she creates that block around you, you're staying there. Because it doesn't change based on outside substances. She's already, without even going into offensive capabilities, really concerning. It's not a surprise the Garden Phaser, and we don't know if this is the limit, and that's the bit I want to see eventually, because I think she's probably capable of more than we've seen, not less. I don't think this is the line. I think Evernight used what she felt she needed to. And her plans also did get changed, keep in mind, by our actions. She modified the state of Amphorius to create a situation where she thought she would grant March's wish by trapping us in the dream and using our memories to force Eranova when all the conditions for Eranova hadn't even been met yet. The calculation, the power, the control of the situation, the fact that she doesn't even personally need involvement, she's basically got an endless arsenal of weaponry. If she can just modify other entities to be mimetic entities she can control too. And if she can just manifest them casually. She considered potentially becoming an emanator of destruction at one point, which is emphasized in her own personal story. How crazy is that? How absolutely insane I think that we found the most powerful entity we've come into contact with out of the playable characters so far. Yeah, I want to see just how far this goes. I'm just listing the stuff we definitely know about her now. But yeah, let me know if I missed anything. I don't think I did, though. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think the line is for this girl. I've mentioned it for ages and ages and ages, the possibility of her ascending to Aeonhood. And they're basically giving me that on a plate and being like, yeah, you might be able to have this. Here you go. Let's go! Let's bloody go. I think that she's already capable of more than the things we've seen, and I think that eventually, if she's able to keep gaining more power, I think there's very few things that we know about that could even get in her way. Let alone challenge her. The Aeons, obviously, she has no chance at present, but if she's capable of ascension into one, yeah, we might be having some fun times. But yeah, let me know. Have a good night, morning, day, whatever time it is, wherever you guys are in the world, and take care of yourselves.